Our grandparents ate millets every day, and our parents were also familiar with millets. But how come our generation has forgotten about it? We don't know their names, we don't know how it tastes or looks, and we've just forgotten and don't eat them anymore. So, what is it that happened that our generation somehow lost in touch with these wonderful traditional ancient grains? So, just going back in time, we've heard of Green Revolution that happened during about 1960s. So this was a time when the world was just, recovering from the World War that happened, and India particularly was recovering from the British rule. There was a lot of poverty, there was a lot of famine that the entire world, and India too, was going through. So the governments decided that, they're going to pick 2 or 3 grains and genetically modify them too, to give very high yield, to address the famine. People were just dying of hunger in those times. So we wanted higher yields, we wanted more crops, we really wanted food for just people to stay alive. And so what they did, they picked 2 or 3 crops, mostly it was rice and wheat, and they genetically modified some of these seeds to give double the yield. They even, they gave subsidies for farmers to make it cheaper to buy these particular seeds. They gave them pesticides, they gave them fertilizers, they gave them loans to buy tractors. In the end, a lot of push for growing only these 2 particular crops, rice and wheat. And of course, it was very successful. In the end, these 2 crops became very, very popular. The yield was almost double, and farmers were happy because they got very good yield, and none of their crops suffered from any pests. They didn't have any losses, and people got food to eat. We started even exporting these grains. It was a happy story, but it was short-lived, probably for about a decade or 2. In all this, we forgot about the thousands of native breeds of these seeds. Even rice, there were thousands of varieties of different rice coming from the different parts of India, different kinds of wheat that was grown, millets and other cereals and other pulses. All the native crops somehow lost their identity because everybody was just pushed to, grow rice and wheat, of one particular kind. And this was also a period of a lot of advertisement, right, in 1980s, and we saw a lot of wheat-based products coming in, getting heavily commercialized. Biscuits, it could be seviyyam, puris, they were all shown a lot in advertisement. It just got more and more into our kitchen, and at the backstage, our traditional superfoods, our millets and other different traditional native grains were lost. And farmers too have realized over the last few years that these extensive use of pesticides, fertilizers, tractors, and growing crops after crops without giving the soil enough time to regain back its fertility, the soil has no longer enough nutrition to give a good yield. So farmers indeed have realized that just growing rice and wheat is only bothering and troubling the soil. So, and we've also realized that just eating rice and wheat is only spoiling our health. So now that we are aware, it really is our responsibility to bring back those traditional grains into our kitchen. If you don't know about them, make an attempt to read about them, to read about their nutrition values. And if you do know about them, start making more recipes and including it into your daily meals every day. And let's together make this attempt to bring back and revive our superfoods, our native Indian superfood crops. Thank you.